Did he drop out for anyone else?
The animals.
Keep it. What's your question?
I didn't even know what I was freaking. Listen, I didn't even know what I was freaking doing, and made massive amounts of money. So for anybody to get into forex's protocols and not make money, you literally suck at crypto. And I don't say that in a demeaning way, but you suck at
logic is that because you made money and you were early, that if people can't replicate your same outcome because you knew nothing, then by definition everyone's a retard. Am I correct?
No, because I keep dollar cost average, and I just bought. On can attest that I just bought $10,000 worth of drip just 2 weeks ago.
Keep something about money that you put in and saying that I got in on day one, therefore I did well.
You sound too emotional about forex.
So it doesn't matter that I keep dollar cost averaging.
Let me just say something, guys. You're too hostile to want to be Will. I feel you're too hostile with him. He's, you don't know me that well, but I've known him for quite some time, and he is not evil. So just be nice to him. If you, maybe he comes off as a bit strong, but he's a kind person, and he would help you if he could. So just be nice to him.
Hey, we believe that.
He does buy, and I was present when he bought $10,000 worth of drip just recently. So he is DCAing. It's not like he only bought.
This one don't make sense to me.
Stopped.
How did forex prevent bots from hitting the animal farm when it launched, but couldn't prevent bots from hitting the piggy bank? That's what I don't understand.
The story has always been wrong because all of a sudden BB was on somewhere else. He was on hiatus. He was missing when the piggy bank launched, and he didn't know what to do. And someone recommended to do the same seeding as a drip garden for Mana Farm. None of that story adds up.
So how come besides the botting, how come when the piggy bank launched, forex was missing for like 48 hours and people were hitting him up telling them that someone was withdrawing all this capital every hour?
Forex denied it for days before he finally.
You're asking questions that no one has any ansers to. You can
forex does. Why is
If you could prevent botting once, you could prevent it twice, and then you disappeared right after your project launched. You feel me? That shit sus, bro.
I think let's sum this up easily. Whale, I want to apologize if I came off harsh, man. I'm also kind of like, not the smoothest talker, so my apologies, man.
Yeah, my bad too, man. I can be.
Yeah. I think when you get so many freaking dicks in a room, for lack of a better conversation, sometimes it gets interesting. But to answer your question, right? Because I know you asked this a couple of times, and it's really simple. What are you trying to get out of this? Answers. The accountability of just answering, because you keep you said this has been addressed. I respectfully disagree. Addressing isn't re-hypothecating the same question over and over, the same answer. This has been addressed. This is FUD. This is fake. This isn't real. Receipts are key here. You have no governance subsystem, so by definition, you have no transparency, right? You have no direct input or say. So, for instance, like Crypt Keeper, Smokey, other people that literally have witnessed people getting blacklisted for no reason, etc. This is how governance and how decentralization prevents these things. None of these are inherently here. And I think at the end of the day, what I personally am looking for, very simply, is just answers to the questions, right? Because as a developer that has literally nothing to do with this project, I get an awful lot of questions that are very low level that have never been answered. And, even in this chat, we have very, very smart and otherwise forthcoming people. AW has been awesome. I really appreciate you, man. Yourself, you've been awesome as well. And I feel as though even the people that are 100% for this until the dying day, based on current stats, right, whether they made money or not, they still don't agree with everything, and they still have questions that are unanswered. And as I think AWN had just said, no one has the answers to this besides forex. Well, there you go. There's two problems there. Number one, that's by definition, 30 years in business should tell you, if one dude, has all the answers, you've got a problem. Any business professional will tell you that. Number two, if one dude has the answers, then why can't he give them? Why isn't he here? I mean, 40 people so far, minimum, have sent me messages of screenshots, PMing him in chats and everything else. Hey, just address this via text. You don't have to come in here and talk to little John Greenwood because, you know, I'm poor and everyone else has hundreds of millions and all this other shit, right? I mean, however you want to spin it. But this is obviously going to keep going because people want answers. No one's addressing it. It's a PR nightmare. No one's trying to, you know, deflate your bags, but their bags are deflated already and they have no chance of inflating. You know, I mean, respectfully, I disagree with the, you know, 4-figure all-time high stuff. Like I would be willing to bet my life that will not happen. And it has nothing to do with this event. Just has to do with, not the market either. It just has to do with tokenomics and closed-loop systems and how this is fundamentally inherent to have problems. The tokenomically, this does not work in any way. You know, you got lucky because of your early entry. Well, not lucky, but it sounds like you did the right things with DCA. But if someone could answer these questions for the public, not even for me, I don't care. I already washed it off. Right? This is not something I'm interested in. Maybe if hundreds come forward and say that they're multi-billionaires, I'll maybe throw $100 in, I guess. I don't know. But as far as the wider audience here, a lot of people want very basic answers. And I feel like this is he might be the world's busiest guy for all I know. Who knows? But if he could crank out a 20-minute Google Doc addressing, like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 10 questions, I bet you 95% of people in here would STFU and go about their business. But that hasn't happened.
Write them down.
I have.
Write the question.
Right.
Check the DMs.
I also want to say,
write them down.
Okay.
If you are a believer in DeFi, like if you are a believer in this, then these are the things that need to happen for DeFi to gain credibility and grow. I mean, it's not just like something in a vacuum that we're pissed off at forex. It's like, no, I think DeFi is legit. I'm sick of TradFi. I'm sick of the fucking SEC. It's corrupt and they're in bed with each other and all that shit. So I came to DeFi because this is where I could be hands-on and things are transparent. And if this shit is happening, this shit's just going to collapse. It's just going to be scumbags and people stealing everyone's money, and it's never going to be legit.
Exactly. The reason TradFi died is because of predators and deceitful liars. And if people are behaving the same way in DeFi, we can actually have a say and hold those people accountable. You can't go and hold JP Morgan accountable. You can't go hold all these BlackRock accountable once they wreck your shit. But at least you can at least hold Forex Shark accountable. And the biggest concern that I see here is everybody who's defending Forex does not even know how to look at the block explorer. You do not even know if you're defending anything that's factual or not. You're just taking whatever everybody else is saying, and whatever group that you're in, anybody who's criticizing and bringing facts has been banned. So you're just in an echo chamber of Forex can do no wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
People want to believe. People want to believe when they have
tell
a lot of money.
big enough and long enough, people will believe it.
Yeah, if people have a lot of money in the farm and in the drip, and they want to believe that it's going to be good and everything is good and dandy, but like you said, some mistakes will be made by humans, forex or others. It's
not mistakes.
Whatever they are, I do believe that bringing them like to his attention, saying you messed up here, you're doing something wrong here, we don't want this, and we have a better solution. Why don't you try 1, 2, 3? He may reject it because I don't want your solution. Then like a month later, he'll come up with the same solution with just a different put some lipstick on it or whatever, and say this is my solution, even though he heard it from you.
So when he denies your solution, though, right? I mean, didn't we just agree this is a decentralized space, although this project might not be, right? Like you outlined, right? But if there is no accountability or governance subsystem in place here, and you have absolutely no say by definition, then I mean, he's literally holding your money hostage. You have no input on what becomes of the project. I mean, like I said, that seems inherently flawed. And as Smokey had mentioned, I love this space. The only reason why I ever raise my voice or get worked up or anything here has nothing to do with forex, drip, animal farm, whatever. I fucking love this space. I eat, sleep, and breathe this shit, and it drives me nuts when the tools are here, the power is here. DeFi fucking blows. I'm sorry, TradFi blows. I swear. DeFi is fucking awesome, and it solves so many problems. It's in its infancy, but we have the tool set available. Normally, you need to call fucking 8-figure friggin' agencies to run audits, to get governance in place, to have oversight. That is not the case here. It is on-chain, open source, and, in the case of audits, a couple grand, right? So all these things are in place. If they're not being utilized, what is different here than TradFi? And if no one can hold anyone accountable or give any input that, like you had said, oh, he can just debuff all of this. Well, that means he's just using my cash to do what he wants. So I like I said, I think I definitely agree. I will give you.
Well,
I'll give you the list of items. By the way, if it's gonna be pretty late by the time we get off of here, but I'll do that for you tomorrow, man, for sure. That way, if you can pass it up, that'd be awesome.
AWN, I'll send you a list. I've already written a list. I have a list. I've been on this shit for a minute. I've been waiting for people to wake up. But the point is this: if Forex does admit to any wrongdoing, he can't admit to the wrongdoing as it was just a mistake, because he's the only person writing the contract, him and another dev. And so a lot of the things that's been happening with these contracts, he's actually done them purposely. They've been done pre-planned and done purposely for him to make money. So if he admits to any wrongdoing, then he also has to admit that he planned to rug people.
That's your opinion.
I would have to. No, you can't say it's an opinion. If it's provable, it's provable. If it's not, then it becomes something debatable or proven wrong. In this case, because it's on chain. So if you have something that is proven.
Those 6 wallets that nobody was told about were draining more liquidity than anybody who gamed the piggy bank. Those 6 wallets, which was hard-coded in the credit contract by Forex Shark, because he's the only person who made that contract. Those wallets were in that contract. Those were draining more liquidity than anything else.
In which, this is the piggy bank or which contract? Exactly.
I'm talking about the wallets that received 5,200 pigs. Sent those pigs to the pig pen, and those wallets were getting BUSD reward yield. People are calling it yield. I think that we can call that pre-sale as dividends. Those wallets were draining pre-sale as dividends because the pig pen was supposed to be like a dividend mechanism where you had pigs, which is also a governance token, but you're also getting dividends from that. All right. Those wallets pretty much got shares of something that they did not put any pre-sale money in, and then they were draining the dividends. 6 wallets. That's the that's the biggest problem that we have here, and that's the question that people really need to bring forward to Forex and ask him to address it. Whether he's got to do it in a voice, in your YouTube video that's going to be recorded, and ask him to bring the evidence that he did not make those wallets. He did not whitelist those wallets because nobody else could have done that unless they hacked his computer.
I would just add on to that it's also all been, not all, I don't know the total amount, I'd have to reference this, but it's been offloaded as well. So the BUSD, that the counterpart that's actually came out of that yield, has passed through an exchange. Now, in theory, it could be just held there. It could be swapped. I mean, obviously, we all know what can be done on, centralized exchanges. But, overall, that tells me that someone's taking profit of some kind. They're taking tax liability for it. So clearly they know what they are doing. It's not like, they woke up one day and they're surprised that they have $6 million sitting in a Binance account. So, like I said, if this is something that is being hid from the public or not surfaced on day one, I have serious questions about every other step of the way. And they may all be unfounded. That's very possible, right? There's fucking way smarter people than myself, right? With that being said, though, until someone can prove from the beginning the gamification of Rev, the freaking captcha code shit that makes no sense to absolutely any developer I've run this by over the past friggin' 5 months plus, and that specific part with specifically those wallets, and then kind of fumbling the answer and saying a couple. I've gotten 2 separate quotes so far that are in this chat from him. I think like someone said one's not from him. I don't know. I banned from all the chats, so I don't know. I don't know what's from him and what's not. They could all be made up. But in these things, I think are some of those fundamental questions that if they were answered, I once again feel like a lot of people would be quelched. Their thirst would be quelched. Whether or not they'd stick around or not, I don't know. But, at this point, I feel like just these little tiny fundamentals that, starter blockchain projects have no problem with the transparency, inherent risk, and inherent value of that. You have a relatively large protocol here that technically has viability and feasibility. I don't believe so tokenomically, but obviously from a community standpoint, it does, and from a build-out standpoint. So why not grab it by the horns and friggin' take it all the way? You're just turning people away, and you're getting people to ask questions that inherently have no answers. So once again, if these could be addressed, I would be extremely happy, and I think that a lot of people would. And I think that it would make your job, AW, much easier, obviously, because you don't have to kind of read between the lines or, deal with things in your own personal way, and then it's truncated afterwards, But I feel like all these questions and answers are very simple. Having the ultimate solution here would be having governance subsystems in place in order for there to be oversight, input, and preferably have some sort of overhaul to the ability for people to stop, pause, rewind, do whatever the hell that's being done. Because I've never once in my life, with the exception of Hex, seen anything this centralized where someone can just hit the pause button for 5 months and this is all cool. And I mean, I don't care if you've made money off of it or not. I'm glad if you have. That's awesome. But it's just for everyone that hasn't, and for those who just got in before that, like for instance, about 400 people got in within a few days prior to the last pause. What the fuck are they thinking? So all of these things have not necessarily simple solutions, but they have simple build outs that can lead to solutions. And someone that is too ignorant, too cocky, or too confounded to even approach these things at face value does not belong in this space, does not belong with the tag developer next to their name.
Yeah. And especially, sorry, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, and just remind you to send me texts of whatever is mentioned here, these addresses, and you mentioned that they're in the contract, and any transactions or whatever that took money out of the pig pen, and maybe transactions of the money being sent to Binance. But after Binance, what happened is one important question. I don't claim that I know, but in some cases it's not it's not theft. It's just a maneuver. So in some cases, I don't want to go into details about that. Let me just see what you guys have first, and then we can discuss further.
Appreciate that, man. I mean, yeah, I appreciate you being honest, right? And actually being stand up. I respect that a lot. I'll send you the 6 wallets right now. Hold on.
Yeah, I think forex addressed the issue of those wallets, although some people were still not satisfied. But he did admit that yes.
What did he say? What did he say?
I think he said it was to get payment for the development. I think that was what he said. But some people did bring it up sometime. I think there was a Medium article about it as well. And
Can you
yeah, forex.
Do you have the article? Are you able to share it, please?
No, I don't have it. That was some time ago. But I did go to the Medium article where those addresses were listed, and forex did address it on one of the AMAs. I don't know whether it was a DGM protocol somewhere. I don't know. He did mention them, although some people were still not satisfied. But he did mention it, so it's something that he's touched on. But I think it's worth asking again. And yeah, on the piggy bank, sorry to take you guys back. I was one of the few people that was fortunate enough to get in. I think I was one of the first 10 people. and I put in let's say about $800, and I was going to be getting out like 1,000, 8,000 a day or thereabout. But the issue actually wasn't bots; it was a speeding issue. And I did go on the blockchain. If you guys go and check on the piggy bank contract, the guy that was unfortunate to have been blacklisted, he did send some messages on the blockchain saying he didn't bot, and and forex knew it. It was a seeding issue, and which actually was the issue, which forex addressed later. I'm personally gutted because I didn't get to benefit from that. I'm a small fish, I'm not a whale by any standards at all, just trying to make a living. And I was happy that, I had finally made it in DeFi. And well, unfortunately, I locked mine for 7 days, and we know what happened before 7 days. But yes, it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't botted. I'm not a dev, but I do know a little bit, at least my way around as a layman on the blockchain. And if you go on the piggy bank, the deployer, the animal farm deployer, if you go there, there's a message. If you dig down to when after the contract was paused, anyway, there shouldn't be too many transactions there. You'd see a message from the guy that was unfortunate to have been the first to get in, and he didn't get in the first block. I think he got in on the third block or something like that, or second block. I can't remember. But yeah, it was fast. I was fast as well. I 800, and I got about $70 something, $1,000 worth of piggy bank LPs, and so my maximum payout then, based on the value of pigs, was going to be around 300K or thereabout, 200 to 300K for $800 that I put in. Yeah, so it's on chain. That's why I like that's why I like the blockchain. Everything is transparent. You can see it and all that. I was disappointed when I was hearing like it was botted, but personally I didn't think it was botted. It was just a seeding issue, which gladly forex admitted later. But I've made a little bit of money on drip as well, so that's why I'm not complaining too much. But what has riled me is actually this latest news that all LPs are going to be converted to dogs token. I think that's not right. Please, if you can prevail on forex to do something about that, it just doesn't sound right. And then also when I'm getting our Tesla. Thank you, guys.
Tesla Tesla giveaway has been initiated because BREAP closed above $369 on the daily. So it's just about choosing the right time and the right criteria. It was initially for those who are supporters of BREAP. So it's going to be a tough choice right now. Regarding the dogs LP, ironically, and I don't know if it's gut instinct, or luck, or whatever, or laziness. I never added any dogs LP, so it's kind of ironic that I don't know. Call it luck, call it gut feeling. I don't know what it is, but I'm not too happy with this. But maybe it is. Maybe forex sees it's best, and some people seem to agree with him. I'm kind of I'm just an observer because I don't have any LPs, so it's easier for me to say it's a good decision, and it's also very easy for me to say it's a bad decision. I don't have any.
To be honest, to be honest, the decisions that forex makes after here is really is almost irrelevant, because it's more so about the constant lying. If we need to figure out whether there was bots or not, if there wasn't any bots, then what? He obviously had to pause the piggy bank contract. He could have just made a new contract and fixed the problem. But the biggest problem is, were those wallets draining from the pig pen? That's the big concern, because those are the wallets that actually actualize those exploits. Like my man Dave, he found an exploit, but he wasn't able to cash in on that. However, the people who had their money in the pig pen, those 6 wallets, they were able to cash in and send that to BSC. probably buying Bitcoin at a dip right now. We don't know. We don't know what's happening. But those are the questions that we really got to get to the bottom of. And the most important thing is Forex continues to call this a DAO. Like, people are going to have a choice. People are going to be able to choose. Yet he continues to make executive decisions. And when he makes an executive decision, you can't criticize him. So this is a dictatorship.
I know this is going to sound really far-fetched right now, but this has been laid out to everyone from the very beginning. He chose the name Manor Farm and Animal Farm. If you know the George Orwell book, you understand how this goes. Look up the summary. There's a pig called Napoleon who thought he was doing things for the right way, got the dogs to go behind him, and basically did everything that's being laid out right now, pretty much to the book. Look up the book. Look up the Pink Floyd. He chose that as a cover for the Manor Farm, for Animal Farm. There's a song called Dogs. Look at the lyrics of the song called Dogs. This is literally, he was telling you from the beginning what he was going to do.
Yeah, but there's a second rebellion in the Animal Farm. Don't forget that.
But they all get wiped out, and in the very end, Napoleon's sitting with the humans eating, and the animals who got screwed in the end couldn't decide. They couldn't even tell the difference between the pigs and the humans at the table at the end of the book.
Yeah, but there was a second rebellion. There was a second rebellion against Napoleon. There was a second rebellion against Napoleon in the Animal Farm. So I don't know. Maybe
this is the second rebellion. This is the second rebellion right now.
Maybe Forex learns from Napoleon and doesn't make the same mistake. I think he may be moving towards a proper DAO in the future. He did mention that things are going to be governed. Look, he said, okay. He said the pigs are going to be governance tokens. So let's give him. I mean, well, do we have a choice?
To organize a vote. It's pretty.
It's not about votes. Sometimes people vote
that's
for.
What the pig token supposedly is. Like
thing
on the old website. Literally,
the pigs token.
It's a fucking joke.
Well, it hasn't been used yet. Okay, let's say that. Whether it will be used in the future or not, we don't know. So let's okay, guys. So don't forget to send me. Don't forget to send me those questions and pieces of information, or let's call them. And I really have to go. People are waiting for me, and I hope we can all benefit. Even Stinky, even though he just shouted at me. Catch you soon.
Props for you for speaking up, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are tired because a lot of people here from America, but